This is Valley News Live at noon.
New at noon, a Williston man led multiple agencies on a chase overnight that ended in a field. This happened just before 11:30 last night. West Fargo police attempted to stop the vehicle for a traffic violation near Cheyenne High School. The man fled into Cass County, where sheriffs put out vehicle spikes, bringing it to a stop on a gravel road. And then the man fled on foot into a field where officers had to use a drone and thermal imaging to find him. Officers took 48-year-old Sean Galusha into custody. Galusha is facing several charges, including fleeing, driving under suspicion, and an arrest warrant for a parole violation, but more charges are possible. And new at noon, we have new information for you on the search for a missing person. Fargo police say they have located a man who has been missing since yesterday. 56-year-old Rory Rupp was reported safe around 7:45 this morning. Rupp was originally reported missing by Southeast Human Services. Well, 2 apartment garage units and 1 vehicle are badly damaged after a fire overnight in South Fargo. The call came in around 11:30 from the 800 block of 42nd Street South. Now that's a complex north of the Holiday Inn. Investigators are still looking for the cause. Well, taking a look at our sky cam right now, things are looking pretty clear right now, Jim, but that might be a different story later on. What are we looking at right now, Jim?
Thanks, Bobby. Well, right now we're looking at our Dakota Magic sky cam where that wind is really whipping. You can see that those flags going, and it's kind of shaking the camera quite a bit as we have some rain in our future, and that wind is moving in front of that rain. There are some clouds out there, but they're thicker in other places than they are down south. For our temperatures across the region right now, most everybody is in the 60s. We have Sisseton down there at 73 degrees, as that's our warm spot, and places along the international border just ticked over that 60-degree mark in the last 10 minutes or so. So a cool start to the morning, but we are definitely warming up as we approach the afternoon hours. Sky conditions, those clouds are thickening, especially in our northern regions along the international border and the Devil's Lake Basin as well. And there are some showers, especially in Lake of the Woods County and Beltrami County to our east in Minnesota. For the next couple of hours, we'll continue to see our temperatures increase until the early evening, while we'll hit our peak heating at about 80 degrees, and those clouds will continue to thicken as we move into the overnight hours. I'll let you know what those impacts with the rain coming up in a few minutes.
Yeah, definitely going to have a lot to go over, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, Jim, thank you very much. Well, on to the Arthur Colley trial. We have new information from a reporter at the Cass County Courthouse saying the defense has rested its case. The jury just heard from Colley's sister, and right now the state is rebuttaling now with new witnesses. Well, an accused hitman for a Mexican drug cartel is back in North Dakota to face federal charges nearly 11 years after he was apprehended in Tijuana. Juan Silas Rocha is charged with conspiracy to commit murder for a continuing criminal enterprise. Authorities allege he is a top lieutenant for the Felix cartel, which smuggled cocaine, marijuana, and other drugs into the United States for years. That cartel was a longtime competitor with the Sinaloa cartel, led by notorious drug kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. Police say Silas Rocha once boasted to authorities that he killed up to 30 people a month during the gang's prime in Tijuana. The Ada, Minnesota police chief is out of a job and is taking to social media to express his disappointment on why the city is deciding to let him go. Jody Booing served as chief for more than a decade, but late last year he contracted COVID-19 after coming in close contact with a suspect during a call for service. Since then, he's been fighting to rebuild his health so he could get back to serving his duties. Now, he says instead he was relieved of those duties.
That was very hard. I did not see that coming. I came to Ada as a police officer in 1998. Raised my family here and dedicated myself to the community.
Both Booing and the city of Ada have submitted grievances, and the city has until tomorrow to make a final decision. Well, Queen Elizabeth's coffin has arrived in Westminster Hall following a historic procession from Buckingham Palace this morning, and the late monarch will lie in state until her funeral on Monday. CBS Ian Lee has more.
Queen Elizabeth left Buckingham Palace for the last time today in a historic procession toward Westminster Hall. Britain's new king led the solemn journey behind the horse-drawn gun carriage with his siblings and sons, Princes William and Harry, the royal family's grief on public display. Massive crowds lined the streets across central London to honor the Queen's 70-year reign. The Queen's coffin is draped with a royal flag and topped with the crown she wore for her coronation in 1953. Elizabeth II will lie in state for the next 4 days. Some camped out for days to be among the first to pass her coffin.
She has that magic about her, much more than monarchy. She's an icon of icons.
Seems like the right thing to do, being British, and that was my Queen.
The Queen's state funeral will be held here at Westminster Abbey. It's also where she married the love of her life, the late Prince Philip, and it's also where she was crowned Queen.
This is the end of a remarkable era, and it's farewell to a remarkable lady.
A choir sang as part of the service for the Queen's arrival in Westminster Hall. As many as 1 million people are expected to wait in a miles-long line to say their farewell to their Queen. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Westminster Hall, where the Queen's coffin is lying in state, is the oldest building in Parliament. It was built 900 years ago by the son of William the Conqueror. Well, veterans from around the Red River Valley woke up at home this morning after a whirlwind tour of Washington, D.C. They were welcomed home late yesterday at the Grand Forks Airport with fanfare fit for these local heroes. A concert band played patriotic music while family and complete strangers waved flags and thanked the veterans for their service. It was a touching moment that brought out many emotions.
I mean, I had tears in my eyes, and I still do. It's pretty amazing. Well, I can't believe this. I just can't believe it. None of us knew any of this was going to happen.
They returned to the Red River Valley on the same day they visited the Vietnam and Korean War memorials. For many, it was a solemn experience as they looked at the names of the people they knew who couldn't make it back home. Well, so to come at noon, inflation and the statistics that we are all paying attention to these days. But next, weather to plan your day.